Hi everybody, and welcome to my final project. Over the semester, we've all been doing different assignments about one company, and so you're going to learn a little bit about what I've been doing. This semester, I chose the company Apple and its product, the iPhone. Research was conducted to understand the company, brand, and product, as well as determine the strategy that the brand is using for iPhone, the audiences they're trying to reach, the media they are using, the messages they are trying to send, and the appeals they are using. Then their effectiveness was analyzed using data found online and in qualitative interviews. Um, Lastly, I kind of talk about what Apple needs to do to stay ahead of its competition. So first, I went ahead and analyzed Apple itself. As many of you may know, it is a Fortune 500 company. One of its most famous founders was Steve Jobs. Over their history, Jobs left and then came back to restructure, and was doing very well. It's one of the top, has a solid lead in the smartphone market as well as other ones. And then recently, Steve Jobs passed away. And so a lot of you may know that or may not. But their mission statement kind of derives from what Jobs kind of started the company as, and they wanted to put out the best products rather than putting out a lot of okay products. So in the financial information here, you can see how many jobs that they've created just in the US, and what their revenue and net profit look like this last year. As far as the SWOT analysis goes, the strengths and weaknesses are things inside the company that either are positive or negative, and then the opportunities or threats are external. And so for strengths, we kind of looked at like their brand awareness, and the reputation they have. They have great marketing and advertising capabilities. As far as their weaknesses go, they have a smaller product range and variation in their price points. Most of their products are pretty high in price. Let's see, and then of course after Steve Jobs passed away, their management has been changing, and so it's kind of been a slow process in the innovation. As far as opportunities or threats, you can see there a lot of the opportunities might be in the trends that are happening in the technology market now. As far as wearable gadgets, like you've seen, they just put out the iWatch, and they have a really loyal customer base. As far as threats go, a lot of their competition have a greater product range and variation in price points. And I don't know if you've seen in the news, but there have been lawsuits over some of their product patents. So then I went ahead and analyzed their brand and product, and instead of worrying you over all the things I learned, I just kind of put a word map here of some of the things that you would hear in a brand or product analysis. A lot of their software, they like to say, a lot of people like to say they're easy to use. They have a big quality. Their operating system is kind of one of a kind. It's original. And although they have a smaller range of products, they tend to be the best products, people like to say. And their design and innovation has been something they've been known for in the past. So we were supposed to choose a primary direct competition, and I went ahead and chose Samsung Galaxy for this. Let's see. So kind of so a little bit about Samsung. Their founding chairman is Mr. Lee, and they were originally based in Korea. They have 80 companies and have been around for more than 70 years. Many of you may know they make everything from TVs to cell phones to DVD and Blu-ray players. They are really big in a lot of different areas of technology. And there are some of their financial information. As far as their SWOT analysis goes, some of the strengths they have, in the past couple of years, they have been growing in innovation. And they have always been known for their low production costs. And they are second place in the share of the mobile phone market, which is why I chose them to be the primary direct competition for my project. As far as weaknesses go, since their products are um, they have such low production costs, they can sell their products for less. But on the other hand, sometimes their profit margin can be low. And some people say that they may focus on too many products instead of making a few products really great. Their opportunities and threats outside of the company um, have to do with there's a growing demand for more products that basically mean you get more for your buck. Um, there is a bigger demand in the tablet market um, in the past couple years, and new trends like we saw in the Apple opportunities include just the different things that are happening in the technology market, and in the threats. Also, their competitors, there are so many smartphone companies that they have to keep ahead, and there has been price wars between the different phones out there in the market. So I kind of did the same thing with Samsung and their brand analysis. These are just some of the things that you might see associated with Samsung, including um, their growing in brand index, and they've really been investing in their brand in the past couple years. They've been having a lot of high profile partnerships in the last couple years, including celebrities that have been advertising for their products. And then they actually kind of started the trend of the bigger screens, which Apple actually just came out with their first big screen phone this year after Samsung had already had them for a year or so. And Samsung also has a big variety in their product lines. So next we're going to talk about strategy and kind of the target market or the target audience and advertising messages that Apple and Samsung have in their companies respectively. So for Apple strategy, their target market revolves around there are kind of a couple different groups. Teenagers ages 13 to 18 and young adults 19 to 25 are considered Apple's target markets. Business people, and then people with families. An iPhone user looks for features such as stylish appearance, user-friendly technology, sensitive touch, and countless applications that appeal to the senses. The major driving force toward buying an iPhone is the brand name itself a lot of the time. Um, as far as their advertising goes, a lot of their advertising is done on TV or through their one social media channel, which is YouTube. I thought it was really interesting that Apple doesn't actually have a lot of presence in the social media aspects of things, so I thought that was interesting. And kind of their overall message is a couple selling points, basically that they have a high quality product, smooth and comfortable to handle, and it is thin and easy to use, as well as the many features that they obviously have. And they are known to be more of a high status, so their brand name is huge. As far as Samsung Galaxy's strategy goes, their target audience is kind of the same. I kind of split it up into a primary and secondary target audience. The first being existing Samsung customers because they can encourage them to upgrade to the latest model of phones. Um, and a second target audience is casual phone users of competing brands. Since they have little brand loyalty, Samsung would want to encourage them to try out their product for the first time, and they use the trial thing big in their advertising. Samsung does a little bit more advertising on TV, even in radio, on billboards in big cities, in magazines like Entertainment Weekly, things that, and like technology magazines. And then their message kind of goes along with the ideas that they are something new. I think a lot of their advertising has a lot to do with the fact that they want people to try their phones. And of course, they have been known to um, compare their products to other products, including the iPhone. And we read in our book when people see two products being compared, they're more likely to believe that one is better than the other. So Samsung definitely uses this strategy to have people try their phones. So then the next thing we had to do was kind of get some external ideas about the two companies, including what others are saying, what motivates the target market in comparing the products, and then a little bit about what we thought about the future. So basically, I went to different blogs and trade magazines in the technology world and got some ideas about these two products. For iPhone, a lot of the people were saying that they have great hardware. A lot of people, especially this year, have been talking about the glitches that the iPhones have had, including the one where iPhones were seen to bend. And a lot of people talked about the different glitches that the phone software has as well, but they say that the updates make up for the bad. They say that they have a great user interface. And so overall, even though there were a lot of negative things towards iPhones, I thought that a lot of the blogs and publications that I looked at definitely talked about the good and how they can update every more often since they only have a few products, I guess. And then on the Samsung side, they talked about their size and a lot about the display and how great that was. So the second thing we looked at was the target market motivations, and I did personal interviews with 4 people. And I kind of got some of the things, a couple themes that come from that. And one of them was the different influences they have on the decision to get a smartphone or which smartphone to get. And these are just kind of some of the two. But the one thing that I heard from most of the people was that it should do it all. That the phone that they get should kind of do everything, and they should feel 100% about it. So then when we were talking about the vowels, we kind of went into, or as I was doing the interviews, I kind of got some themes from it and some quotes from the people that I interviewed, and kind of came with these 3 things. But the one that I thought was the most impactful was the third one here, the experiencers, and it just kind of shows that people who have had other phones in the past or who are Apple buyers, I guess, like to experience and trial and error before they come out with a phone that they will like. So then at the end of our project, we did a survey. I came up with a 15 question survey and got 25 participants. 60% of them were female, as you can see, and then this is just the age breakup of the people who took the survey. Most of them were probably in the college or kind of getting out of college, being 21 to 25. And then I came up with the two most impactful things I think from this was that 64% of them had already owned or had owned another smartphone that wasn't an iPhone before and then went to an iPhone, and I thought that was very interesting. And then besides the features of the iPhone, other reasons that they chose to buy the iPhone was more of a loyalty to Apple or the quality that they think Apple had rather than it being like a trend. And so I thought that was really insightful to see why people were using an iPhone. And then last